welcome to Sports News. Despite failing to qualify for next year's African Cup of Nations, the Super Eagles aren't moved in the November FIFA ranking released today. Nigeria's senior men's national team maintained their 42nd position on the log. The Nigerian team is still ranked 9th in Africa behind Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Tunisia, Ghana, Cameroon, Cape Verde, Guinea and Senegal. Algeria remain at the top of African football with 948 points, which puts them in the 18th position in the world, while Tunisia are second in Africa and ranked 22nd in the world. Cote d'Ivoire stay third on the continent with 842 points, placing them in the 24th spot in the world. The Ghana Football Association has appointed former Chelsea boss Avram Grant as the new coach of Black Stars. The 59-year-old will take over from Maxwell Konadu, who had been in charge since Kwesi Appiah left in September. He is expected to resume next week Monday, while his contract will end after the 2017 Nations Cup. The Israeli has only 6 weeks to prepare the Black Stars for next year's Nations Cup in Equatorial Guinea. And the Black Starlets of Ghana will not participate in the 2015 Africa Under-17 Championship after they lost their disqualification appeal. The Confederation of African Football upheld its decision to penalize Ghana for fielding an overaged player, Isaac Twum, against Cameroon in a qualifying match. Ghana won the first leg tie 2-1 and went on to record a 6-4 aggregate victory. But Cameroon protested to CAF, complaining that Twum had failed the MRI test, and as a result, Cameroon advanced to the finals. Elsewhere, Brazilian soccer legend Pelé has been hospitalized again, this time for a urinary tract infection. The Albert Einstein Hospital issued a statement saying Pelé had been moved to a special care unit after suffering clinical instability. His personal aide, José Fornos Rodriguez, said the move was to protect his privacy and that he is completely fine. Pelé was discharged from the same hospital on November the 13th after undergoing surgery to remove kidney stones. The 74-year-old has suffered a series of health problems in the past decade, including emergency eye surgery for a detached retina and a hip replacement. And that's it on Sports News. Back to Ijoma for the rest of the news at 10.
Well, over now to the foreign scene. The Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto has announced plans to overhaul the country's municipal police forces after the disappearance of 43 students. The students, all trainee teachers, went missing in September after joining a protest in the state. Their disappearance sparked mass protests, with many still unconvinced by the official explanation that the students were murdered by a drugs gang. Mr. Nieto explained that the overhaul will begin in Mexico's 4 most violent states and will place all local police units under federal control. Staying with the foreign scene, a suicide bomber has hit a UK embassy vehicle in the Afghan capital, Kabul, with a British worker and an Afghan member of staff among those killed. Here's Cynthia Are with more.
The Briton who died was a member of the embassy security team, as was another UK national who was wounded. 3 other Afghans were killed and more than 30 others were wounded in the attack, condemned by UK Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond as appalling. The Taliban, who have been targeting foreigners, claim responsibility. Also today, Israel's Internal Security Service says it's uncovered a Hamas cell in the West Bank that was planning to carry out a series of attacks in Jerusalem. Shin Bet said it had arrested more than 30 militants who were trained abroad and recovered weapons as well as explosives. The arrests come at a time of rising Israeli-Palestinian tensions. Now, last but not least, the first human trial of an experimental vaccine against Ebola suggests that it's safe and may help the immune system to combat the virus. 20 volunteers were immunized in the United States. Scientists at the U.S. National Institutes of Health describe the results as promising. The research is published in the New England Journal of Medicine. And that's the foreign news wrap-up. It's back to you, Joma.
Thanks a lot, Cynthia. And the main news again. The federal government has once again given the assurance that there's no cause for Nigerians to worry over the falling oil prices, as it's made adequate plans to cushion the adverse effects of the situation. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries has elected Nigeria's Petroleum Minister, Dezani Alison Madueke, as its first female president. And Mexico's President Enrique Nieto has announced massive changes in the country's municipal police following the mysterious disappearance of 43 students. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Bunato. Do have a good night.